Do you want to know what spiraling is and how to stop it before it even begins? Then stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome to another rousing episode of Spill the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie and I'm the funniest, wittiest mindset coach as well as the OG Hype You Up Rampage Queen here on YouTube. If you would like one-on-one coaching with me, links will be in the description box below, as well as links for like the VIP group, because VIP is the place to be. It is lit, legit, and where you get your frickin' shiznit. So if you want to join that, where Nikki and I go live once a week to have group coaching with you guys, answer your question, talk about our journeys, talk about everything manifestation related, then go ahead and join that. Also be links for any courses as well as Nikki's services below. And of course, I don't usually begin a video without my calendar. You know I love this calendar. It's awesome. So anyway, this one says, when the fuck is happy hour? It's when you say it is. Why? Because you're the operant power of your reality, period. This one says, live, laugh, leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, if there's anyone bothering you in your 3D reality, affirm what I do. Everyone leaves me the fuck alone. Nobody bothers me about anything that I don't want to talk about. Facts. This one says, catch me in my fucking floaty. Yeah, because you need to do what? Self-care, live your life, do some distracting. You're not going to sit at home like the old cat lady doing nothing while you're affirming and persisting. And this one says, fucking can't stop, won't stop. Of course you're not going to. Why? Because you're going to fucking affirm and persist till you get your shit. That is what I do. I'm not going to stop, can't stop, won't stop until my life is literally everything that I want it to be, which it mostly is, but of course, we're always having desires and manifesting more things, different things. So having said that, let us get to the topic at hand, which is spiraling. What is spiraling? So spiraling is often when someone's mindset shifts from being like neutral, peaceful, into being in a state, if you want to look at it, a state of pure negativity. Often it is someone is so upset, distraught, that they might be crying, upset, angry, sad, grieving, or whatever for an entire day, hours, maybe even a week at a time. Spiraling for some people seems hard to get out of, hard to get back on the horse of affirming and persisting. The best thing to do about a spiral is to avert it, stop it, don't even have it begin in the first place. Well, you might be wondering, how are we going to do that? So a couple of things. If you start to pay attention to your thoughts and become what is referred to as the observer. So we are multifaceted. Our brains, have different aspects to them, and we can be aware of what we're thinking. So there's, haven't you guys ever noticed that there's a part of you that's thinking a thought and then another part of you that like maybe questions the thought that you're thinking or agrees with that thought, or, it's starting to have something else going on. I mean, since I've been on this journey, I've noticed that I might be having 2 or 3 thoughts at the same time, unless I'm really focusing on what I'm doing, which, is why I try to really focus when I affirm. Not that you can't do robotic affirming, but that's a whole nother video. Anyway, so start to recognize what your thoughts are in the first place. You don't have to watch every thought that you have, because that is absolutely exhausting, but you can check in periodically and be like, what is my dominant thought at this moment? What am I thinking about the most at this time? And see what it is. Start to observe what it is. If it's not in line with what you want to experience it, change it, flip it, tell it to stop, affirm the opposite, do whatever tool that you've learned or what have you from my videos, Sammy's videos, etc., on what you're going to do about when you're thinking thoughts not in line with your manifestation. You can also use your emotion as a guide. If you are feeling some kind of way, like if you're feeling positive or relatively neutral, peaceful, you're probably thinking something in line with what you want to experience, or thinking something that makes you happy or feel peaceful, what have you. If you notice that you're feeling some kind of way, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling, sad, depressed, grieving, frustrated, angry, do a quick check-in and be like, what am I thinking about? 9 times out of 10, you're thinking about something that doesn't work for you, or you're thinking just about something that doesn't make you happy, right? So start to learn how to recognize what your thoughts are. Now, as far as staving off, averting the spiral, for me personally, since I've been on this journey and I've really gotten to look and be more aware and observant of myself, to look within, I've noticed that there seems to be almost like literally a switch that gets flipped. I'll be, starting to think negatively, and it just seems like, when you're on that roller coaster and there's that second before you go down. Or for those of you who go to Disneyland, Disney World, the Tower of Terror, which I think is now the Avengers ride, there's that moment when that ride that drops who knows how many stories or floors hovers for that split second, and then it goes down. A spiral is very similar to that. So if you start to recognize within yourself, I'm going to go down, like the count, like the shit's going to drop. Unless I change my focus, learn how to change your focus. So if you notice you're thinking a bunch of negative thoughts and you're starting to have some emotional become involved, before that drops, the floor drops from out from under you, use one of your tools. If you're somewhere and you can't immediately start, like by rampaging, or, if you're having a consistent trigger, something that seems to be coming up time and time again, or if you're just irritated about a situation in the 3D, I get out the irritation personally. I write a FU letter. I mean, that's literally what I do. I know some people are like, oh, here she goes again about Nikki's FU letter. Well, I do it because it works for me. Like if it didn't work for me and I didn't use it, I wouldn't recommend it and tell it to you. When I do a FU letter followed immediately by a command letter, that zaps whomever that's about like a bolt of lightning straight in their keister, straight in their ass, and gets them to move how I want, like snapping my fucking finger, like hello. But at any rate, so start using a tool. Command letter, FU letter. I usually like to follow the FU letter with a command letter, but command letter can be done separately. Do some EFT tapping. There's plenty of videos that I have about it. Sammy has about it. Nikki also has about her on her site. Anyways, but if you don't have time and you're like, I can't write an FU letter, I can't sit down and do a command letter, I can't sit there and do EFT tapping, then either loop your go-to affirmation, which is what I would say would be the best, is have a go-to, like everything in my life is perfect, everything always works out for me, I'm the happiest I've ever been, I feel more loved than ever. Or if you're thinking negative thoughts about your relationship, then go to a go-to for that. I feel completely safe and secure in my relationship with SP. Or, I'm in the best relationship of my life with SP. If it's about money, I feel rich as fuck. I'm relieved I have more money than I could ever spend. I'm rich as fuck with millions of dollars. Whatever it is that's your go-to for money or for your job. I have the best coworkers. I completely and totally love my job. I love my job. I love my job. I have the best coworkers. Everyone treats me with love and respect. I have the easiest shifts. There's things that you could think of for your situation. Have a go-to. Have a go-to for each topic, so you could have something that's really general. Isn't it wonderful? Everything in my life is perfect. Everything always works out for me. I'm happiest I've ever been. I feel more loved than ever. Or you can have a couple that are in your head for SP, for money, for your job, for your health, whatever it is that you're manifesting. But the best thing to do about a spiral is to steer it off, to stop it before it even begins. Because once you've begun a spiral, then you've got to get out of it. Then you've got to put more effort to want to get back onto the horse. When you're spiraling, it just feels so much harder to get back to where you were. It's like, when you are in the habit of going to the gym, if you take a week off because you just do, then, a lot of people say it feels hard for them to go back. Once they start going back, they're Gucci. I'm not, I'm just trying to use something that's similar that maybe people would relate to, because going to the gym is something that often people will do daily or 6 days a week. And, they feel like it takes a moment to get into that rhythm. But when they do, they really start to enjoy it. It's the same thing with affirming and persisting. You get in this rhythm, you start to really enjoy it. It is a lifestyle. We cannot not manifest, but manifesting purposely is still a lifestyle. And when you spiral and get off the horse and you're not affirming, you're not persisting, you're letting your mind think negative about everything. And then you're manifesting things, you're potentially manifesting things that you don't prefer. Or some people do report that they're manifesting some shit that they didn't prefer because it was still their dominant thought and they stopped affirming and persisting. And so they just received more of what they didn't want. You don't want to have that happen to you. Why would you want to have that happen to you when you can stop it in the first place? Now, if you're like, hey, I'm spiraling or getting upset because I'm seeing something in the 3D reality that I don't like. Well, create a story that works for you. I probably at some point will link a video that's either how to deal with a 3D or, I'll find one that is going to help, augment this video. But anyway, if you're like, you know what, I'm seeing things in the 3D and that's why I'm spiraling, then create stories that work for you. Or decide that you're going to be a little avoidant on exposing yourself to things that you're either going to have you spiral or that you're going to assign meanings that don't work for you. I have a lot of people who are like, well, I'm constantly on social media and I'm always looking at SP's page or this, that, and the other thing. Then stop looking. Stop doing the snooping. Stop, because seek ye shall find. Do you want to purposely find something that doesn't work for you that's going to cause you to spiral? No. So take some steps in the 3D that might help you to stave off spiraling by like not going snooping, not checking the 3D, not putting yourself in situations that are going to irritate you, going to a tool immediately. If someone in the 3D says something that pisses you off, revise on the spot or start affirming in your head so that you don't react as strongly as you did before. I've noticed it with my own stuff. When I start affirming in my head and I choose not to react outwardly, then things, smooth out a lot quicker. Sometimes even as quick as I can snap a finger, something will switch back. If you're like, you know what, there's things in the 3D I have to deal with. Well, here's part of the deal. If you're spiraling because you're manifesting money and you look at your bank account and you have 2 nickels to rub together, then use some tools to where that is not going to upset you as much while you're affirming and persisting. Because, we talk about self-concept a lot. You don't necessarily need self-concept to manifest. You can manifest a lot of things and have 0 self-concept, but because, it's your dominant thought or assumption about the topic, not necessarily your self-concept in relation to that topic, although self-concept, as many people will tell you, helps significantly. Having said that, when you do work on self-concept, including affirming for your manifestation abilities, what does that do? Put you on the pedestal. I've talked about the pedestal before. When you're up here in your manifestation, when your manifestation's up here and you're down here, it's like you're looking up at it. It seems obtainable. When you get it more to where it's equal to you or just below you, then you are starting to feel more powerful. You're stepping into your power. You know that you can have anything that you want. The 3D doesn't upset you as much. You don't spiral as much. So work on affirming for your self-concept, your manifestation abilities, while you use some of these other tools to help you to stop spiraling or to avoid it in the first place. Because who wants to be miserable? Manifestation is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy life, and have it be to where we're experiencing what we want to experience. I don't think that we're meant to have a life full of misery. I mean, there's some different theories. I'm not going to go into all the different theories because, quite frankly, I'm not going to make a 6-hour video or whatever discussing all the different philosophies of life. But I think life is meant to be enjoyable. I think manifestation can be fun. That's why I have the Wouldn't It Be Funny list to boost your confidence as a manifestor. That's why I talk about stepping into your power, because when you feel more powerful and you're more confident as a manifestor and you're affirming for your self-concept, you're on the pedestal, you spiral less, period. You use some of the tools to reduce the attachment that you have to the old story or the emotion that you have about the old story, and you spiral less. But most of this video was to talk about how to avert a spiral before it starts. Learn to recognize some of your thoughts. Learn to recognize when that switch is going to flip for you and when you're going to go down and drop to the ground emotionally, and stave that off by starting to affirm using a tool. Don't have yourself spiral in the first place. Put the negative bullshit in the trash. Here's the owl. This bitch is always hungry for your bullshit. Put the negative thoughts in the trash where they belong so that you can continue to affirm and persist. Put the spiral in the garbage can. We don't have to spiral. There's no reason for us to spiral. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. We can control, our mind, control how we're going to react to things. I'm not saying that, we are human. We are going to have some reactions. We might have some emotions, but we don't have to sit there and be down there for a week. You can cry if you need to. You can punch, a punching bag if you want to, scream into a pillow, use the tools. But the goal is if you do have some emotion, get it out, use some tools, affirm, don't set up camp in the spiral, RV center, because nobody wants to be there. It's the place of misery. And it sometimes can seem a little bit unpleasant to try to get out of it. It's easier just to not go to that hellhole in the first place and try to stay laser focused on what you want. So I'm hoping that this video helps you guys. because that is my goal, to help you guys to learn how to be masters of manifesting so that you can be, do, have whatever that you want, because you already can be, do, have whatever that you want. I know that probably was a tongue twister. Anyway, if you have any ideas for videos below, rampages, drop them below. And I'm also going to take some of the rampages per you guys' requests and turn them into a subliminal rampage. Don't know if you'll sleep well with that, with me, you know, yelling at y'all underneath the music, but you guys have asked for it, so just let me know what you think. Video ideas. And then, of course, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.